Today is a man who is the reason I still sleep with the lights on at night. He is a former NFL player, an actor, a pro wrestler, and Isaac Yankum's favorite patient. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Gene Snitsky.
What's up, fellas? How are you tonight?
We're doing good, Gene. Thanks for joining us today. How you doing, man? Everything's going good?
Good. Thanks for having me on. I'm excited to be on the show with you guys, and everything's going great. And that was a very nice introduction.
Awesome. All right, so 2014 was a big year for you in and outside of the wrestling ring. You have a couple of films under your belt. Any projects you are working on now that you can tell us about?
Yeah, I'm actually executive producing a horror movie at the moment called 100 Acres of Hell. We have the gentleman that created Zombie Strippers, Jay Lee. He is the... basically, he and I worked on a project down in Texas together, became really good friends, and I had this idea for this horror movie for a while. And I was like, oh, well, I'll run it by him, see what he thinks. And he was like, oh, it's great, I love it. Let me write a screenplay for it. So sent him off my synopsis, and he developed a screenplay for it. And we shot a trailer for it last fall. That's going to be debuting soon. And he wrote the screenplay, like I said. He's directing it and editing it as well. And I'm the male lead. And it's kind of true to life, some stuff that happened in my life over the years. And, the guy... The male lead, the character's name's Buck Severs. That's my character, and basically I got hurt in the ring, depressed, down on my luck kind of thing, and my buddies want to take me out, cheer me up, get me back to be my old self, and in the process of that, we end up at this old game preserve, camping out, blowing shit up, shooting things, all that good stuff, drinking beers, and my buddies start getting killed off one by one. Make a long story short, comes down to me and the killer, and I have to kind of find that fighter in myself, live or die situation. So, do I fight the demons inside me and find the fighter I used to be, or do I just, kind of cave in and, end up getting killed? So,
awesome.
Kind of cool little story, yeah. Something different, It's always a helpless little teenage girl or a babysitter or something. It's never a good, formidable foe for the killer. So we figured let's add some, real life wrestling to it and, all that good stuff. And the actual killer in the movie is the great Samu Anawai from the Wild Samoan family.
Sure. Nice.
Samoan. He plays the killer in it. And it's going to be awesome, man. Wait till you guys see the trailer. It's going to blow you away.
Definitely. Can't wait.
Now, Gene, you were actually acting prior to your start in wrestling. Now, do you think that your acting experience actually helped you kind of get your job in WWE, or at least help you in your career?
I mean, it's definitely a help. It's funny because I was just talking to a lady today, and she's like, well, I saw your stuff on the internet, and I'll tell you what, I was kind of scared. You're a scary guy. But then once I talked to you, you're actually a big teddy bear. I was like, oh, gee, thanks. I kind of take that as a compliment because, you're creating that illusion of this psychopathic, killer guy. Mm-hmm. And, if people buy it, I'm doing my job. If they don't buy it, I'm not doing my job. So for me to be able to get that type of reaction out of people, it's always cool because then I know I'm doing my job good. So it's exciting.
Sure.
Awesome.
Now, if Gene Snitsky got to work alongside any actor or actress, who would you choose?
It's funny you ask because I was just watching Jimmy Kimmel last night, and Scarlett Johansson's legs were kind of drawing my attention. So I would have to say her. I'd like to work with her. And only she's wearing a skirt.
Was it her legs or her feet?
Her legs.
Okay.
She did have open-toed shoes on there.
Okay. All right.
I noticed those things. I have a very keen eye, if you know what I mean.
Absolutely. Now, you're arguably most known for your time in wrestling, but you also had a very good football career prior to coming to WWE. You played for the NFL and the CFL. What do you think about the current state of the NFL? I don't know. I kind of feel like they're getting away from what the NFL used to be. It's a little more protected, I guess I want to say. What are your thoughts?
It's on the verge of becoming flag football. You can't do anything. I mean, you can't. I don't know. It's tough to watch, to be honest with you. The referees have so much control over the outcome of the game these days, and then they have the replays, and they have this and that, and it's like, you can't touch the quarterback, you can't do this, you can't do that. I mean, they have a uniform on with a helmet just like everybody else. It's definitely a changing game, and I know why they do it, but I think from a fan's perspective and a true football fan that's played football, I kind of don't like it. I like to see the guys go out there and just, play hard and, obviously not play dirty, but I still want to be able to see a linebacker come up and crush a guy that's waiting to catch the ball and not get a 15-yard unsportsmanlike penalty because they say he's rammed his head into him or whatever. You know what I mean? It's just getting ridiculous.
Sure. Now, being that you're from Pennsylvania, is your favorite team, safe to say, the Steelers?
No, the Eagles are my favorite team. I'm a diehard Eagles fan. All the Philadelphia sports teams I like.
All right.
Okay.
Andy Reid was actually my college football coach at Missouri. So when he was at Philly, I used to go down every year for camp and go down for a couple games. I still do. I know a few of the players, so I still go down, but it's not the same without Andy being there. But, it's still fun to go down and catch up with the guys and be on the field and see all that kind of stuff. Because I miss playing football. It was fun. I enjoyed it. I had a pretty good career, so you get back down there, you're on the field, and they come out, and your adrenaline starts pumping. I want to run out there and hit somebody.
Now, you just mentioned coaches. Have you ever given any thought to actually coaching football?
I did actually coach football after college. After I got done playing pro, I had my shoulder operated on, and I actually coached one of the local high schools here where I live in Pennsylvania. So I did do a little coaching. And I'm proud to say that I am the only guy that I know of that played on a championship team and coached a championship team at the same high school, at Panther Valley High School in Panther. That's where I graduated from. So I got to go back and coach there, and we won the championship while I was coaching there. And I played on the first championship team in the history of Panther Valley High School. So it's kind of cool.
Nice. Now, obviously, we have to talk some wrestling. When you first got into sports entertainment, did you have any goals in mind that you wanted to accomplish, or did you just want to take wrestling on full steam ahead, kind of?
Well, as a kid, I always enjoyed watching it, and I knew that someday I was going to get into it. I just knew it was going to happen. But my goal was just to make it to WWE. I mean, if you're a wrestler, your goal, if you're serious about it, it has to be to get to WWE. I mean, I didn't want to be wrestling in front of 50 people at the local flea market. You know what I'm saying? I got into it to be, to get to the top. And, I never rode the bench in any sport I ever played. So, I always wanted to be the best. I always strived to be the best. So I always strive to get to WWE because they're the best. And, luckily enough, I was fortunate to get there and have a good career. And, 10 years later, people are still talking about all the crazy stuff I did. And it's pretty cool. I'm still doing interviews with guys like you.
That's right. Well, not only did you, achieve your goal of getting to WWE, but you absolutely thrived there. You even got to be in a WrestleMania, which is something that not everybody can say. What was your experience like competing at WrestleMania 21?
I've played football in front of 100,000 people, but walking out in front of that same amount of people at WrestleMania, it's just such a different feeling because all the people are just looking right at you. When you're out on the football field, there's 21 other guys out there besides yourself, so it's not as isolated. You're not as isolated to the crowd. So, both are really super cool. And if you have the opportunity to do either one, I highly recommend you do it. but it's a feeling I really can't equate to anything else. You know what I mean? It's crazy. Like your adrenaline's just so I don't know. I was always the type of person that I really got into my character, and I used to get so like pumped up and become that character. So when there's that many people just, booing you or, yelling at you when you come out, it's just, there's nothing you really can equate to it.
All right. Now, speaking of wrestling and WrestleMania, there's a ton of shows now each week for wrestling, from Raw to NXT to Impact to Lucha Underground, countless others. What is Gene Snitsky currently watching these days? Do you happen to watch any of these shows, Gene, or do you just watch football mostly?
I hate to say it, but I don't really watch too much sports on TV. I'll follow the Eagles. I'll follow Missouri Tigers because I played at Mizzou. Excuse me. I follow, little baseball here and there, but I'm not one to go home and rush to turn on a sporting event. I don't know. Just
sure.
I guess it's just my type A personality. If I'm not doing it, it's hard for me to sit and watch it.
Sure. Yeah.
Okay.
I'm more. Even when I go to sporting events now, I have some friends that play for the Lehigh Valley Phantoms in hockey, and I'll go down to the games, and I'll end up socializing more than I watch the game. I'll walk around, I'll talk to people, I'll go down in the back, I'll putz around with the employees, stuff like that. I'll probably watch 5 minutes of the game, and the rest of the time I'm socializing. So I'm not one to just sit and watch a game.
Sure.
Of any sort, of any type of thing, even at concerts. If I go to concerts, I'm I'll listen to a couple songs, I'll walk around, I'll, listen to a couple more songs, smoke a cigar, I never stay in one place too long. I'm very antsy.
Sure.
Okay. Now, that kind of answers this question too, but obviously the WWE Network's a big deal now, and everybody's talking about it, and it's given new life into other people's careers. But being that you're an actor, do you think that this could kind of help open up the door for other people to star in WWE productions?
I don't know. I mean, honestly, I don't think so. I mean, I don't know. Is their film division even doing anything right now? They don't really. I mean, they did Marine 4 and it went straight to DVD. It's not even out. You know what I mean? It's not even out in the movie theaters. So is it really helping anybody? I don't think so.
Yeah.
I mean, obviously, it's great to be able to do a WWE film. I wouldn't pass one up if they asked me.
Yeah.
But I mean, to me, the objective of doing a film is to get it out in all the theaters, have a grand open. What the hell? What's the word I'm thinking of?
Like a premiere.
Premiere. That was it. You have your big premiere, you go to the movie theater, all that stuff. To just do a movie and throw it right out on DVD kind of takes all the fun away from it to me.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
Kind of defeats the purpose.
Now, Gene, are there any wrestlers that stand out to you currently, whether it be in the indie scene or, I don't know, if you ever catch Raw or anything like that? Is there anybody that, names that just stand out to you? Or
not really. Like I said, I don't really follow the show too much.
Okay.
If I'll DVR it, and if I see any of my buddies wrestling, I'll probably stop and watch it. But as far as the new guys, nobody's really catching my eye. Nobody does it for me, to be honest with you. I don't know.
Sure.
I like the older style with the characters and the larger than life guys and the big animated characters. There's nobody like that now. You know what I mean? It's it doesn't excite me. I want to see somebody that, stands out. It's imposing. They look the part. You know what I mean?
Yep.
That's just my preference. That's the era I came up in. As a kid, I enjoyed Hulk Hogan, Undertaker, all the larger than life guys. The guys these days are just guys.
Yep.
I mean, that's just my opinion.
Sure.
Now, as a big man in the wrestling business, who do you consider the greatest big man of all time?
Well, I mean, that's pretty easy to answer. Undertaker, obviously. He's been there 22 years. 21-1 in WrestleMania. That's a no-brainer right there.
Okay. Now, Gene, if you had a choice, though, to wrestle for any era or decade, would you choose the one that you were in? Would you go back in time a little bit? Or is there anything that you wish you could have done, or were you fine where you were?
I would have loved to have been like in the 80s, I think.
Yeah.
That seems like when wrestling was really at its peak. You know what I mean? Like Hulk Hogan was kind of like the breakout guy. He was on the cover of Sports Illustrated. He was in Rocky 3. It was kind of like the coming of age for WWE. And all the guys were, like I said, big, larger-than-life characters. You had all these cool, outfits and all that. Like, everybody had a real cool outfit, and it was colorful, and it was fun. Like now it's like a guy's wrestling in boots and a T-shirt. And it's like...
Yep.
I don't know. It just doesn't excite me.
Sure.
Good. Well, speaking of, like, being character-driven, while you were in the WWE, you had two very different characters that you portrayed. Which was your favorite of the two?
Oh, that's a tough question because I loved all the stuff I did there. That's like comparing apples and oranges. It's tough to really compare the two. They were both equally as fun. I wish they would have ran more with the ECW version of WWE because I thought that had a lot of potential. I don't think they did it as good as they could have because there was like Lashley was there, I was there, Bob Holly, CM Punk. We had a good core of guys, and I can't really put my finger on what happened.
Yeah.
I think that if it was called anything other than ECW, that it would have went a lot better, but everybody had certain expectations whenever you said ECW. And I agree with you. I think that cause Kurt Angle was down there. I think that I really liked that time, but yeah, I don't know really what happened either.
Yeah. Cause that thing we did at the Hammerstein Ballroom was awesome, man. That was there was so much energy and raw, passion in that building that night. It was crazy. It was like just walking into a bee's nest, man. It was crazy. I'll never forget it. It was awesome. They had Raw, SmackDown, ECW, and they had all, the different factions there. And it was like standing room only. It was crazy. The atmosphere was just crazy. That was probably the best wrestling show I've ever been involved in. That was just crazy.
Now, you spent a lot of time in the WWE, but like any job, we all have a complaint about our job somewhere down the line. But if you had one complaint about your time there, is there anything that stands out you just would love to get off your chest?
No, I don't have any complaints. I just, towards the end of my run, it was one of those things where I wasn't really happy with the direction of my character. And I was, kind of going back and forth with the powers that be. And it kind of ultimately came down to me telling Vince, I was like, hey, I don't want to be here just collecting a paycheck. If I'm not going to be on the starting team, I'd rather not be here. Yeah. And that's what I told him. So it's just not my style, man. I don't want to just be another guy.
Sure.
If I'm doing something, I want to be the best at it. And if I'm just going to be sitting around and you're not going to, give me the opportunity to carry the ball, then I don't want to be there. Because all the shit they gave me, I ran with it, and I made it into something. Who the hell else could take a kick in a baby doll, making it into the top thing in wrestling?
That's right.
You know what I mean?
Yep.
Now, on the opposite side of that, what is the greatest thing that's come to you from your career in professional wrestling?
There's so many great things that have come from it. I can't really pinpoint one, but the coolest thing to me, is still going places and people yelling, "Hey, Snitsky, it's not my fault." I get it every single day of my life. It's crazy.
All right. Now, outside of acting and wrestling, do you have any hobbies or passions that you love to tell us about?
Well, I have a personal training business that I'm doing right now, and that's, pretty much occupies most of my time besides the acting projects and stuff. So that's, always fun helping people attain their fitness goals and stuff like that. And if I'm not at the gym helping people, I'm obviously at the gym working out. And I like to spend time at home with my wife and my dog. And I have a Great Dane. He's awesome. Nice. He's like another person. he's like a little man. He's got such a personality. It's funny. He cracks me up. But yeah, just spend a lot of time with my wife Deanne and the dog Maximus, my buddy. So yeah,
Well,
occupies most of my time right now.
it sounds like you're living the dream. Now, a little bit different than wrestling. A lot of talk over the years about MMA. Are you a fan of MMA? And what are your thoughts about CM Punk now going over to the world of MMA?
I'm a fan of all the sports. Like I said, I could respect the preparation that goes into all the professional sports. And, I don't knock anybody for trying anything because you don't know till you try.
Mm-hmm.
So, I wish him the best. He's not a bad guy. I got along with him pretty good. And I have a friend that actually fights the UFC, Ryan Jimmo out of Canada.
Mm-hmm.
He's a buddy of mine. So, I've trained with him a couple of times. And, it's tough. Any type of, professional level sport, the training is going to be tough. That's a given. That's why athletes are so revered, because normal people can't really do it. And it's only a certain percentage of the world that can say, "Hey, I'm a professional athlete." You know what I mean? So, yeah, okay. He's gonna have a tough time, but I've learned over the years never say never in anything. Anything could happen at any time. You just never know. So, but I wish him the best. I hope he doesn't get crushed.
Yeah.
I hope he does. I hope he holds his own at least.
Yeah.
But I can't knock anybody for trying anything because, like I said, you don't know till you try. So.
Absolutely. Now, typically in our show, this is the time when we do what we like to call the lightning round. We had to change it a little bit differently because it's Gene Snitsky. So today's is a little different. It's going to be called the lightning round and whose fault was it? So we're going to give you a list of scenarios or events that have happened in history, and you have to tell us whose fault it was, okay?
I'll try.
Lightning round.
The sinking of the Titanic.
Well, it was definitely not my fault.
Lita's miscarriage.
Definitely not my fault.
Global warming.
Al Gore's fault.
The Shockmaster falling at Clash of the Champions.
I would have to go with it's not my fault.
Brock Lesnar breaking The Undertaker's undefeated streak.
Probably the worst part of wrestling history. So that's not my fault either.
Well, we before we go, you are definitely all over social media as we are. So where can fans keep up with you today?
I'm on Instagram and Twitter mostly. I kind of only use Facebook for people that are family or friends.
Okay.
So you can check me out on Instagram at The Real Snitsky. And my Twitter is at Big Gene Snitsky, Biggene. There's 2 G's there, Snitsky. So hit me up on one of those guys. I'll be more than happy to chat. I always try to respond to every single fan that contacts me. So I'm not one of those kind of guys that won't talk to you or any of that kind of crap. Because if it wasn't for the fans, there'd be no Snitsky. So I'm not like certain people that never ever interact with their fans. So.
Sure. All right, Gene, I know we barely scratched the surface with you today. We appreciate your time and talking with us tonight. Those thanks for coming on.
Well, like I said, thanks for having me. And any friend of John Trosky's is a friend of mine, so you guys keep up the good work. And I look forward to being back on the show when the trailer drops, and we'll have a little shindig concerning the 100 Acres of Hell horror movie premiere. Also, speaking of which, check out the 100 Acres of Hell on Twitter. I'm not sure. I think the guys have it up now. So check out at 100 Acres of Hell, I believe it is on Twitter.
All right. Well,
if not, if you can't find it, just message me on Instagram or Twitter, and I'll make sure that I find it for you guys. But it's going to be super, super cool, and I think all true horror movie fans are going to love it. And I think it's going to be a surprise hit, and hopefully everybody else enjoys it as much as I do.
If we can't find it on Twitter, whose fault is that?
It's not your fault.
Okay. I'm hilarious.
Didn't see that one coming a mile away.